Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Right, I've got my notes, I've got my cuppa. There's not a single earthly reason why anything should go wrong this morning. So there won't be a blooper reel today with any luck anyway. I'll start today. I've got loads to get through. Whether it's an hour's worth or not, I honestly, for fuck's sake. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Well, I've got my notes, I've got my cuppa. There's not a single reason why anything should go wrong this morning, which is obviously why this is take either 2 or 3. The best laid plans and all that. I've got loads to get through today. I'm not sure whether there's going to be an hour's worth, but we'll see how we go. I'll start with a birthday wish first off. Gareth, Mr. Video Tasties, happy birthday for last week, mate. For some reason, it did not come up on my feed. The first I knew about it was when I saw the post that you put on yesterday showing your birthday haul, including that absolutely superb Clockwork Orange vinyl soundtrack. I was so jealous of that. I would love to grab a copy of that. I know HMV do a lot of sort of vinyl at the moment, so maybe they've got that one. It looked rare. Is it a second-hand copy, that one? Because if it's from the 70s, that's going to be worth an absolute fortune. So yeah, let me know on that one, mate. But I hope you had a good birthday. You certainly had a good haul there for sure. And now a quick welcome to Elliot Gillies, who joined the group last week. I also gained a new subscriber. Elliot, I'm assuming that's you. So, welcome to the group, mate. Hope you like what we're doing on here. Elliot, for those of you that don't know, runs a channel called IMO Reviews. I'm assuming the IMO stands for in my opinion. It took me a few minutes to figure that one out, being old and thick. But I love your channel, mate. The content is absolutely brilliant. I watched a couple of your videos last night. Your review of Terrifier 2, which I still haven't had the balls to watch yet. I watched the original Terrifier a few weeks ago, and I have to admit I was absolutely stunned at just how graphically violent it was. It was a really nasty piece of work. I've heard so much about Terrifier 2, I haven't actually got the guts to put it on yet. I know about the bedroom scene. As I said the other week, I like to know what I'm letting myself in for. You'll learn this about me, me the more you get into the channel. I'm not a massive fan of overly violent movies. Occasionally I get a little thing called Challenge Tony come along, when members of the group will challenge me to watch certain movies that take me out of my comfort zone. Terrifier 2 hasn't been one of them, but I've had movies like The Seasoning House, Hobo with the Shotgun, Nobody, which is Bob Odenkirk, I think, and a couple of others. All these Challenge Tonys seem to be outrageously violent movies that they know I'm not going to like. So yeah, Terrifier 2, I did take a look at the bedroom scene, and I watched it, I think it was on YouTube, on my phone, on the absolute smallest picture that I could, just to see roughly what I was in for. And even with the picture at that size, it was absolutely horrifying. If the rest of it is anything like that, there's no way I'm going to make it through it. I believe, Guy, I think you challenged me to watch this quite a while ago, and I think it's the only one that I've sort of really said, no, I don't think I'm going to do that, but who knows, I may be brave enough one day to put it on. But I really enjoyed your review of that one, and also the one you did of Moon Age Daydream, which is the Bowie documentary, which I haven't seen yet, but really want to take a look at, being a fan of Bowie as he was. There's actually a Blu-ray of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars due to be released in a sort of a small box set in August, which I almost certainly will be grabbing. I can't believe I have never seen that film. Being a Bowie fan, I don't know why. It's just never crossed my path. But I will be getting a copy of that, and I will be watching it. Inglorious Blu-ray. So yeah, welcome to the channel, Elliot. Hope you like what we're doing here. Feel free to post any of your videos within the group. We love new content. So the ones that you put on YouTube, feel free to post them within the group. You will no doubt get some feedback from the members. You'll get to know them all soon enough. But yeah, I hope you like what we're doing, mate, and welcome to the group. Right, comments on last week's video. Steve Mack. I don't have the Breathless box set. I did know it was in 4K from Studio Canal, but I'm now waiting for it from Criterion in 4K. Same transfers mentioned on video, looking forward to seeing it again. Recommend How to Blow Up a Pipeline on Netflix, and season 2 of The Bear on Disney Plus. Episode 6 is superb. How to Blow Up a Pipeline, I saw a few weeks ago. Oh God, it's a real sweaty palms job, isn't it? Loads of tension. I thought it was really, really good. I'd heard reviews of it on various podcasts that I'd listened to that week. So I was actively sort of looking for it, and I did watch it just recently and really, really enjoyed it. It wasn't what I was expecting it to be. But yeah, really enjoyed it. I haven't seen The Bear yet, but again, the first I heard of it was on a podcast last weekend. I don't know what I thought it was going to be. I had no idea it was set in a kitchen, and it was going to be very, very similar to the British movie Boiling Point with Stephen Graham. So I will be taking a look at The Bear, but obviously I'm going to have to start right at the beginning on episode 1. But that's going to be the next series that I take in. So you put, I remember Demon Seed with Julie Christie. This is one I really, really want to watch again. I haven't seen it for many years. All I can remember of it basically is the controversy that surrounded it when it first came out in 1977. I remember there were headlines in the paper, not on the front page but within, basically saying that it was depraved, nasty, horrible. Obviously that immediately drew me to it. But the first I saw of it was on, do you remember the old MGM UA? Large soft plastic silver boxes. Well, they weren't silver boxes, the sleeves were silver. That was the first time I ever saw it, and I remember quite liking it. So I do want to take a look at that. Danny Boyle directed The Beach. Of course he did. I don't know what I was thinking about. Who did I say it was? I said it was Alex Garland, didn't I? I think he wrote the book. I'm probably going to be pulled up on that one now. I'm fairly sure Alex Garland wrote the book upon which the movie was based. But feel free to tell me if I'm wrong on that one. On AI, I would mention Short Circuit, which I saw for the first time last year. Another 80s movie it took me 30 years to catch up with. Absolutely loved it and would really, really like to watch it again. I can't remember, I think I streamed it, but I would love to get a Blu-ray copy of that. Let's see, another John Badham film, as well as Short Circuit. Is that John Badham? Yes, it is. As well as Fassbinder's World on a Wire, adapted from Simulacrum 3. I think you recommended this one to me before. I believe it's out on Criterion. It's a long movie, if I remember right, to do with the future. Don't really know much else about it. It sounds like one of them movies that I need to go into completely blind, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be tracking down a copy of World on a Wire very, very shortly. And Alex Garland's Annihilation. I was actually loaned this movie last year sometime on DVD, and for some reason I didn't bother watching it. I'd had it for over a week, and I'm not one for holding on to other people's discs for longer than necessary, so I sort of gave it back without actually having watched it. If I'd have realised it was an Alex Garland film, and had I not seen Men just before it, I would definitely have given it a go. So I will be getting a copy of Annihilation to take a look at now I know all that. And finally, your making of video. I really, really enjoyed that. I watched it last night. My God, you're well organised. You are so well organised. I've just got notes on the screen in front of me here on the PC that obviously I can scroll up. It's just on a text file. And they're just basic notes on what I've read this week and people's comments and as I'm reading now. But you with your teleprompter, wow! I did actually look at getting one of these ages ago. I thought I'm not remembering anything here, and I used to write things down on cards. Do you remember? I used to hold things up, and it was like, um, and I thought of getting a teleprompter, but they were quite expensive. And when I mentioned it within the group that I was thinking of getting one of these things, it was met with sort of howls of protest, basically saying that but it'll lose the, the live thing, as in you don't know what you're going to say or you trip up on your words and stuff like that. That's part of the charm of it. So I kind of backed down on it. And I mean, you do a lot of work on editing as well. I had no idea there was that much involved in that, and I can see now why your videos are so well spaced. Um, I'm not sure I've got the stuff up here to deal with all that. I've looked at various editing software. Um, Again, a few months ago, I was advised, well, not advised, but said, any chance you can include sort of images with your videos as opposed to you just sitting there and, well, yeah, I suppose I could look into that. But the only things I could really think of putting on is when I mentioned a film, maybe putting the poster up across the screen so that you know that the movie that I'm talking about, especially if it's an oldish one that is a rare one or a little known movie. That's the only thing I could think of, but I'm not really sure how to do that. But I'm going to be looking into that just as a sort of to make them look slightly more, I think you call it polished. Yours certainly look polished. Maybe look at that and see what I can do with that. But that'll be the next time I'm off for a week at work and I've got a day just to sit down and sort of muck about with various softwares. I've not tried. Is it Vegas Pro that you use? Just looking at that fried my brain. But you seem to have really taken to it. It's just a click here and a click there, drag drop this. It looked fairly sort of easy, but I get the feeling it wouldn't be quite that easy for me. But I really enjoyed the video, mate. It was nice, as you put it, to get a look behind the curtain and see how it's all actually done. And your videos definitely show the effort that you put into making, sort of editing and all this sort of thing. And no way would I ever expect you to remember all of that information off the top of your head or to do it the way that I do it, with sort of half-arsed notes. It has to be done properly, but I didn't realise you used a teleprompter. Hats off to you for that. And no, guys, I won't be investing in one. Definitely not. No, this is my style and I'm happy with it. So, but yeah, that was a great video, Steve. I really enjoyed that. Callie, another great episode, hon. Thanks for the shout out as always. On the subject of filming, I do pretty much all of my vids in one shot. Any problems I can always fix in the edits. You see, I don't do editing. So I'm quite lucky like that in a way. I just basically sit here and just prattle for an hour. So I don't need to bother with any of that. But as I say, I will try to put maybe some images in that might help, but I can't see me bothering with anything else. I just like to do it, upload it and forget it. So, I get what you mean about having bad weeks when it comes to filming. Weeks where you get in front of the camera and just struggle to get through it. But then there's weeks where you feel like it's 5 minutes, but it's actually an hour-long vid. It's intermittent, Callie. Some weeks this is going absolutely brilliantly. But last week's was okay, but the week before was bleeding awful. You just get weeks where you're constantly tripping over words, and even though I've got things written down in front of me, I will still forget stuff. So yeah, I'm glad you get that. I mean, only anybody that has actually done this will get the difficulties that you face. I still hark back, and you must be bored hearing me mentioning this now, back to my very, very first video, which I think was about 3.5 minutes long. It was a nightmare. I was holding cases up in front of my face and basically just pausing and can't think of anything to say. And if you'd have told me 2.5 years ago, or whenever it was, that I'd be sitting here for an hour or more talking to you guys, wouldn't have believed it, I'll tell you now. So but we've had some interesting experiences along the way, haven't we? You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad you get it, and I'm fairly sure everybody else gets it as well. So there was a lot of screen sizes flying about last week. Now come on, boys. We're not, I mean, 55 inch, 65 inch. We're not going to fall out over a couple of inches, are we? Surely. Ooh, matron, I know. Chris, I'm just going to scroll up a bit. Chris, been out this afternoon, but good to get back to Tony time on the 55 inch. Here we go. It's not as good as it is on my 65 inch. It wouldn't be, would it? But I've been sent to the spare room. Oh, I've been relegated to the spare room now, have I? I used to have pride of place above the fireplace, if I remember right. But glad you're still enjoying the videos, mate. Guy, I lose on the spare room TV, but winning on the main TV. Watching on the medium screen is like the disappointment you used to get at the Odeon when you went to watch a film, but it was on screen 2 or 3, as opposed to the grandeur of screen 1. I remember that. I do remember that. I'd be waiting for a movie, like you, for months and months and months, thinking that I'd be able to see it on the massive screen, screen 1, and it was on screen 3, which was little bigger than the TVs that we've got now. So yeah, I do kind of get that. I really, really get that. Mark, loved the video. Sundays just aren't the same anymore without Tony time. Thanks, Mark. I do appreciate that. I personally much prefer the longer videos. The more you waffle on, the happier I am. God, really? So if recording the video over the course of the week and in sections is easier for you and means we get a longer video, then I think that's definitely the way forward. I think the decision's pretty much been made there, hasn't it? They have been an hour long over the last few weeks, but it's not been by design. It just happens that way. As I said before, the more you guys give me to talk about, the longer I will sit here and talk about it. I think today's probably will go to an hour, but next week it could be completely different. It could be 30 minutes, it could be 40 minutes. Let the chips fall where they may on that one. But I do appreciate that, Mark. And as I've said before, I'm not going anywhere. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, I'll be here every week as usual. So, Guy, haven't I already done you? I've got another one here. Top vid tone. Thanks, Guy. War games. Yes, I do love it. I've never seen AI on the basis that the little git from The Sixth Sense annoys the hell out of me. I've only ever seen him in The Sixth Sense, so I don't know. He was in a movie called Second-Hand Lions, which I watched a little bit of, and it starred Michael Caine and is it Ed Harris? I can see him in my mind's eye, but I can't remember his name. I just think it was Ed Harris or Ed somebody. I saw a bit of that, and it was really, really good. But something happened where I turned the thing off after half an hour, so I never did see the end of it. But they're the only two movies I've seen him in, so I can't really comment on. Is it Haley Joel Osment? An AI film series sounds like a good plan, though. I have got so many series of movies that I would love to make my way through. I'm nearly through the Rocky movies. Well, nearly through them. I've got one more. I've got Creed 3 to watch. Then I suppose, I better watch Mission Impossible just to get everybody off my back. I did see the first one a long, long time ago. I can't remember it making much sense, and I do remember it being a movie that I probably thought I wouldn't watch again. But I'll give it another go because it's been probably 10-20 years since the last time I saw it. But that's going to be the next film series. But I would love to do, as you say, a season of movies like AI movies, a season of Stallone movies, that kind of thing. Work my way through it that way rather than just the franchises, because you tend to watch. I know, Jason, you watch them back to back. I can't do that. I would watch one a week. But it's like the Psycho movies that I've been watching on Saturday nights with the pizza. There are only 4 of them, but I've got to admit, by the 4th one, which was last night, I wouldn't say I'm getting bored of them, but I'm looking forward to moving on to something else now. So doing franchises is brilliant, but you need to mix it up a little bit, I think. The only one we've got to watch now is the remake of the original from '98, the Gus Van Sant movie with Vince Vaughn as Norman Bates and Anne Heechey, the late Anne Heechey. But I'm not sure whether he's going to enjoy that, because the first thing he's going to say is this is exactly the same as the original black and white version? And I'm going to say, yes, I know it is. That was the point of it. And I was a bit nervous of it when I first heard it because I thought, how can that possibly work? But it does. I think it works really, really well. I can't explain why, but it does. So whether we're actually going to go through with that one next week or give it a break and come back to that one and move on to something else, we're sort of on the cusp of the Friday the 13th movies. But again, do I want to watch one a week, or would I like to mix it up with the Halloween movies or something else? We shall see on that one. What else have you got here, guy? Keep the vids an hour long. That's the I like it, What the fuck is that? What does that mean? It sounds like a song lyric, guy. What is it? You put message you about the mags. Yeah, I know which ones you're after now. So as soon as I've read a decent pile of, and it might be a month or two, mate, you will get them. You've got first refusal on all of those. Otherwise, they will just get recycled, because most of them I won't keep. There's only a couple that I will hold on to, but not very many of them. Jason P, you hadn't seen the video yet. Not seen the vid yet. I'm on series 4 of Steptoe. AI is shit. I said I won't bother watching it then. Then again, I don't like anything like that. AI, iRobot, Minority Report, shite, mate. Yeah. Guy replied to that, to the point as ever, mate. We all know what Jason's like. Jason is what I would describe as a blunt tool, but a blunt instrument. But he's our blunt instrument, and we love him, and we wouldn't have him any other way. And that is, as I've said before, what makes this group so special. Elliot, you'll realise this. Rob, Gear, you'll realise this. Everybody has got very, very different personalities, and they mix well. They mix so well together. It just works, and it does. We've got probably 6 or 7 sort of core members. I think Jason kind of heads that. And then you've got sort of Chris and Guy and Callie and all the others. As I say, it's a really spectacular mix of people within the group, and it's one of the most vibrant, colourful, lively groups I think I've ever been on. I've been on some of the other movie groups, and my God, they are dull. They just post things. There are no opinions there. It's just post this and nobody replies. So we've got plenty going on within this. And Elliot and Rob, you are really going to like it. The more you get into it, you really enjoy it. I'm sure you will. Let's see. Let me just scroll up. Jason, this is how recent this is. You put a post on last night that you were watching The Virgin Soldiers from 1969, which I believe is Hal Bennett, based on the novel by Leslie Thomas, I think. Just watched this for the first time. Heard so much about it when I was younger, but I've not seen it available to watch on normal TV. Got it on YouTube and a perfectly crystal clear picture too. I'm now watching the sequel, but the picture isn't so great. I did actually get a hold of the sequel, as you said, on YouTube, and it is appalling. It is crying out for a DVD or a Blu-ray release. As you say, a double pack would be absolutely great. I believe they were both released by Columbia, so there's a very good possibility of that. Stand Up Virgin Soldiers, which was the sequel, when I think that was made in 1976, that did have a VHS release, because I remember, I'm sure I bought it at one point. I certainly rented it, and that's where I first saw it. But it is definitely crying out for a fresh physical media release. Chris, cracking vid, sir. I love the way you call me sir. I say this every week. I'm glad you are happier with it this week. You shine every week, but more so when you enjoy it yourself. It's so much better when I enjoy it and things aren't going wrong. I had somebody say to me this week, you know, if you get 15 minutes into it and something goes wrong, do you go back and do it again? I said, no, absolutely not. If I run over a minute, I leave it. You know what I mean? Anything that comes in under a minute and I fuck it up, I will stop it and start again. But anything over sort of 3-4 minutes, no way. It just carries on. I just go with it. But I do enjoy it a lot more when it's flowing like it is today. Chuffed you purchased Superman and glad you like what you've seen so far. I had a quick look and the transfer is absolutely brilliant. I will watch Superman 2 over the next couple of days and put a small review on, which you did, the result of which you will see in the second half. I have 3 and 4 on 4K too, so we'll do the same with them. I got it wrong. I didn't realise Superman 3. I thought Superman 3 was the only one that wasn't available on 4K, but I found it on Amazon. And when I've watched 1 and 2, there's a very good possibility I will purchase 3 and 4 and just basically give that Blu-ray box set away when I've done with it. So that's the route I'm going to go down with that, I think. Let's see, vid length. I'm happy with what you're comfortable with. If I don't have an hour to spare, it just means Tony time lasts throughout the day. Roll on next week for the next. Really appreciate that, Chris. Thanks for that. And thanks to all of you for all the encouragement. You're basically giving me to keep the vids going, whether they be 30 minutes or an hour. Basically, Chris, I'm comfortable with whatever goes right. If, like 2-3 weeks ago, I get 30 minutes into it and it's been a complete and utter shit show, I just can't see the point in carrying on with it, which is why I brought it to a close when I did. I think I only did about 5 minutes of the second half, and it was just, I thought this is not going to work, so I thought, you know what, cut your losses and just try again next week, and that's what I do. But I'm comfortable with whatever, sort of works for me. If it goes well, like this is, I will just carry on. If Tony won't go to the cinema, you bring him into VR yourself. This is Tony time. What a magnificent little piece of filmmaking. I think it lasted about 30 seconds, but Chris, that was absolutely brilliant. It was me on a cinema screen, and then the surprise was the hand that came and just gently stroked my face like that. I swear I could almost feel it. I got goosebumps. Nice one, Chris. Oh, and this again proves how up to date we are. You put a post on this morning about Shout Factory, a US company releasing, let's see, Pumpkinhead, The Blob from 1988. That's the remake of the Steve McQueen movie, and Night of the Demons on 4K. I'm really, really nervous about buying 4Ks from the US. I have been told that they are not multi-region, they're not region locked, but apparently if there is a Blu-ray in with it, which I think a lot of these have got, the Blu-rays are region locked, and I've been bitten by this a couple of times. A while ago I ordered the Village People musical Can't Stop the Music. Yes, I know, but I used to love it, and I thought, I haven't seen this since the Thorn EMI video days. It was one of the first movies I rented on VHS. Can't remember where I got it from. If I remember right, there was a VHS library down Derby Street. You'll know this one, Jace, because you knew them all. And the first VHS player that I got, Can't Stop the Music, was one of the first VHSs I rented. Loved it, watched it over and over again, probably wore the tape out in the 2-3 days I had it. So I ordered it on Blu-ray from Amazon. It came, and the first thing that came on was this disc will not play in your region, or something like that, and my heart just sank. So I had to basically put it onto Amazon for sale, sold it, and then I fell for it again. And I can't remember what movie it was, but I did buy another movie on Blu-ray like a dick, and it did exactly the same. So I've been really nervous about buying discs from the US, but with being told that 4Ks are sort of not region locked, I may just have a look on Amazon.com and see which movies are not available in the UK and just try one and just see how it goes. But if this one goes south, I'm not doing it again. I loved the video review of Stop on my Mum Will Shoot, by the way. Thank you very, very much for making me feel not so alone. You're not going to believe this. I haven't actually seen the movie all the way through. I've seen bits of it. The bits that I've seen, I've probably seen the whole thing, but in various fragmented bits. But I'm putting that right, as you will see later on. But I really appreciated the fact that you just stood up and admitted that I liked it. I thought it was all right. It wasn't brilliant, but it was okay. So it was a great little review, that. So right, I'm coming up to 30 minutes, guys. I've still got loads to get through, so I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. And we're back. Right, where were we? Jason Kerr, our Ginger Ninja. I could have sworn I left a comment on here. Work must be interfering with Tony time. What? Seriously? Thank you, as always, for the shout outs and the kind words. You are more than welcome, Jace. Hoping you do eventually get round to Titanic 666, because I don't want to be the only poor bugger to suffer through it. This is a movie we were talking about last week. Basically, it's getting a lot of stick at the moment for being bad taste because of, I presume, what's happening with this submarine thing. I don't know, but I said I wanted to see it. Jason took the sting out of it a little bit for me by watching it. And basically gave it the most horrible review, which obviously turned me onto it. So I will be taking a look at it at some point, Jason. I'm just in no rush to do that based on what you said last week. I just watched The Brain That Wouldn't Die not too long ago. Very odd film. Great vid, Tony. Thanks, Jace, for that. Much appreciated, mate. The Brain That Wouldn't Die, I saw a long time ago. This, I believe, is one of those movies that I gave away last week, wasn't it? Was on a double bill, a sort of a drive-in double bill. I do love those sort of 50s sci-fi drive-in movies. I absolutely adore them. I've got loads of them on Dodgy Stick, and whenever I'm sort of, in the mood, I will pop one of those on. They're just great fun. They are not taxing on the brain at all. You can just basically let it wash over you and just have fun with it. So I do love those, so I totally get that. So thanks for the comments, Jace. Much appreciated, mate. Rick, I think this came through yesterday. The crown is yours, Tony, mate. I'll get a post sorted tomorrow. Great vid as always. Talk about cut and run. I think I know what that's about, but I'm not going to curse it. And I'm not going to talk about it just yet. But if you've been following what's been happening over the last few weeks, I think you'll pretty much know what that is. But it could be something completely different. I don't know. So I'm not going to mention anything about that until I get the official sort of video thing through. So I'm on my phone last week just checking notifications. And one came up on Facebook. The new Bond has been announced. Oh, wow. Got really excited. Is it Tom Hardy? Not Idris Elba, surely. Is it, who's the other guy? Aaron Taylor Johnson or something? Or is it, there was another one in the running, wasn't there, apart from Tom Hardy? Henry Cavill. It's got to be one of those. No. Followed the link and it's me, apparently. There's a picture of Daniel Craig's bod with my head on top of it. Guy, you said Basildon Bond. Rob Gear, you little sod, put bald finger. Revenge is a fucking dish served cold, Rob. You will suffer for that one, I promise you. Maybe later today, possibly, if I've got the guts to do it. I thought it was really clever. I'm loving all of these, sticking my head on different people. I never know who's going to crop up next, who I'm going to be next. As I say, that one with the cinema screen with Chris was pure genius. I absolutely loved that. The nice part of it about it was that cinema that you created on there actually looked a lot like Screen 1 of the Odeon in Burton. Guy, you'll remember this. It did look a lot like it, and it did. If you'd have put a different ceiling on it, it would have been Screen 1 of Burton Odeon. So thanks for making me the new Bond, guys. I accept the role humbly. I'm going to have to be a lot fitter than I am now, that's for sure. Jason, back to you. Jason Kerr. Really enjoyed your Portals review. I think you gave it 7 out of 10. It's really intriguing. I watched the trailer after watching your review, and I definitely do want to take a look at it. Those black things that people are disappearing through, they're very reminiscent of the what do they call them in 2001? Monolith. Very, very similar to that. and it's got a kind of a 2001 feel about it, because we didn't actually find out what was on the other side of those monoliths. But yeah, I really enjoyed that review, and it definitely made me want to take a look at that. Love the new Blu-rays video, by the way. Please do more of those. I love seeing people's collections. Even if you just do, say, 5 a week, 5 of your favourite films a week, you'll work your way through, and you'll have enough to get you going, to keep you going for months, I'll bet. But I really enjoyed that one. And some of the movies you mentioned, The Beast, I've never heard of that one, so I'm not familiar with that. Turkey Shoot, an absolute classic of Australian cinema. If I was doing, and I intend to do at some point, we were talking about seasons earlier, a season of, say, Ozploitation from movies, that would be very, very high on the list, along with Waking Fright, and quite a few others. I guess you could call Mad Max, the original Mad Max, Ozploitation, because it was obviously an Australian movie. But yeah, I do want to take a look at Turkey Shoot at some point. Patrick, I've heard of this, but I've never seen it. And again, I didn't realise it was. Is it an Australian movie or an American one? You could probably put me right on that. But I always get that one confused with a movie called Martin that George Romero directed. I got the feeling that they were a sort of a similar thing. I think Martin was a vampire. Patrick is to do with telekinesis. But that is one that I definitely want to take a look at. I get the feeling it's been released on Blu-ray over here, but I will take a look. Blackwater, saw that a long time ago. A brilliant, crazy crocodile movie. I believe based on a true story. There is something sinister about crocodiles, is there not? In the same way that sharks are. So yeah, I did enjoy Blackwater. It's been a while since I've seen it. I think we went through a spate of sort of monster crocodile movies, like sort of Lake Placid. I believe there was one called Dark Age. I think that was an Australian movie. So yeah, Blackwater's very good. Suspiria, saw it years and years ago. Dario Argento. They remade it recently. I think it's on Prime. This is another one I'm shying away from. There's a death in that I've seen bits of, and it's like, my God, if the rest of it's like that, I'm never going to make it through it. But I need to watch maybe those two back to back, the original and the remake. A Bay of Blood, I believe you said that was Mario Bava, so that's another Italian movie. Not seen it, but I would very much like to see it. And The House by the Cemetery, I've seen a couple of times, a long time ago. Really, really good movie. Can't remember who directed that one now. I tend to get the Italian directors very confused, so I'm not going to guess it. But yeah, please do more of those Blu-ray reviews, Jace. I would love to see more of your collection, without a doubt. Right, Mark. I didn't think you were actually going to do it. You put a post on yesterday saying that after you watched Mission Impossible, you were going to take a break from Tom Cruise and watch Rubber, the Killer Tire movie. I didn't think you'd actually go through it. It must have made quite an impression, because you did your very, very first ever video review. I hope we can get Jason to start doing this, because you proved yesterday they don't have to be, 2-3 minutes. You can do a video review in like 20 seconds, which is what you did. I don't know why I thought you would like it, but for some reason I got the impression that, I think he's quite going to like this. And I saw Dave Oliver, Savage Zombie Reviews, his discussion on 2 movies, one called Zombievers, which you absolutely hated, and Rubber, which you were very confused by. You thought you liked it, but you weren't sure, and then I think eventually you decided that you loved it. Mark, you definitely didn't like it at all. I think you described it as shite and said that you'd rather watch 10 hours of Teletubbies than sit through that again. I need to watch it. I haven't seen it properly. I've seen bits of it. But with me banging on about it for God knows how many months, I really should have seen it by now. So I'm going to take that one in at some point very, very soon. But please promise me that's not going to be your last video review. You've only got to sit in front of your phone for 20-30 seconds, and you get your point across. I think you and Jason have a very, very similar style, if that's what you can call it, of video reviews. Um, I think you're gonna have to share the word shite out between you because you just please do another one, Mark. Please. You said there was another one coming up. I don't know what you were watching, but you said there may be another one coming up. So please, please do another one. Don't let that be the last one. And Jason, come on, dude. You can do 20 seconds. Even you can say shite or brilliant. So, right. Dave Taylor, I've been promising to come on to you for quite. Oh, sorry, oh matron. I've been meaning to discuss your messages. You've been messaging me with movies, basically to do with movie lengths. We were talking about long, long movies, and you read out a few that you had seen at the cinema. I can't believe you saw All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm assuming this is the original black and white version, but there was a version made in the late 70s, so maybe it was that one. I can't believe you saw that at the cinema. I'm guessing your dad took you to see it. All About Eve. Brilliant movie, absolutely brilliant. Betty Davis at her absolute best. I love All About Eve. I've seen it many, many times, and it never gets boring. So I kind of get that one, but it's just this thing with watching black and white movies at the cinema, because we're about the same age, aren't we? I don't remember seeing any black and white movies apart from The Elephant Man, and obviously that's 80s. But let me know how you went on that one. You mentioned other movies that were obscenely long. Gone with the Wind, which I've seen a couple of times. I'm in no hurry to watch it again. But I found it quite enjoyable. I gather it wasn't one of your favourites. The Ten Commandments. This was getting on for 4 hours, I think. This was Charlton Heston playing Moses, leading the Israelites out of Egypt or whatever it was. Long film, but I mean, it's Cecil B. DeMille. Cecil B. DeMille did massive movies, so I kind of get that one. Ben-Hur, that's another humongous epic. Charlton Heston, again, if I remember. Was it Charlton Heston? Yes. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But again, you have to set aside a morning to watch these things. The Greatest Show on Earth. Saw it a long time ago. Is this the one with Jimmy Stewart as the clown? I really, really enjoyed it. Again, a Cecil B. DeMille picture, so you know you're going to get something long and quite spectacular. And you also mentioned The Alamo. I don't think I've ever seen it. That's John Wayne and Richard Widmark, right? Flight of the Phoenix. Very fond memories of this one. We used to do, you'll remember this, Dave, at Paulette they had end of term film shows. And they used to rent a movie and screen it in the assembly hall on one of those pull down screens. They weren't massive, so you had to sit fairly close to see what was going on. And one of those movies was Flight of the Phoenix. And I think the entire year were bored senseless by it. I loved it, absolutely loved it, and I've loved it ever since. And that's Jimmy Stewart, Richard Attenborough, Hardy Kruger. There were loads of people in that one. Brilliant movie. Basically about a plane that crashes in the middle of the desert. I won't give anything away, but it's to do with their survival and getting out of there. Absolutely wonderful movie from about 1965. Very much due to watch that one again. Battle of Britain, never seen it. Longest Day, I think I saw part of that once. That's another one that's 3 hours plus. All the President's Men, absolutely brilliant. If ever you've heard about Watergate and you want to know more, All the President's Men is a good place to start. This is Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford playing two reporters. Woodward and Bernstein worked for the New York Post, I believe, who uncovered the story of what was it called? See, this is what I do. The Watergate scandal. And it's really, really well done. The Aviator, I haven't seen. I bought it on Blu-ray just recently, but I've not watched it yet. JFK, brilliant, but I've not seen it for decades, so that's another one I need to catch up with. Valkyrie, Tom Cruise, Nazis, saw it a long time ago, haven't seen it since. But that's a good list of long movies. I bet there's loads more as well. And with that in mind, I have got here some of the movies that I like that are fairly long, that I've seen at least once, starting with that one, Django Unchained. I love Tarantino films. This was particularly brutal, really, really nasty stuff, but really, really well done. If you want to see a Western that's very, very different, that is definitely one to go for. What have we got here? Woodstock. This one clocks in at 3 hours. This, I mean, you've got Glastonbury now, you've got festivals everywhere. This is the original. This is the one that started it all. In 1967, I think it was, the Summer of Love. You've got so many stars in this, singing stars. You've got Joan Baez, Canned Heat, Jefferson Airplane, Jimi Hendrix, Santana, The Who, loads and loads. It went on for like ever. I think it was 3 days. But this was the original. This clocks in at 3 hours, so that's a favourite of mine. The one that you didn't like, Dave, Gone with the Wind. This was a favourite of my mum. She first introduced me to this one. I know people think it's a romantic drama, and it is, but it's got a backdrop of the American Civil War, and it's quite raw stuff. I get the feeling this is one of those movies that is going to be tampered with by the woke brigade at some point, due to certain scenes, but we'll see how we go with that one. But that clocks in at nearly 4 hours, I think. This is one I love, West Side Story, the musical. I've seen it a couple of times. The songs in this, they are just evergreen, absolutely brilliant. If I can name any of them. I can't name one over there. I feel pretty, fucking pretty. Brilliant movie. And my favourite ever, I think, long ass movie has got to be Lawrence of Arabia. I've seen this 5 or 6 times, absolutely adore it. Peter O'Toole is absolutely brilliant in this. I'm due to watch it again. I think this clocks in at 3.5 hours, something like that. It's a David Lean film, so you know, the photography, the direction is absolutely amazing. This is a brilliant movie, and the soundtrack is just electric. So yeah, if you like films set in the desert, this is one to watch on a cold winter's day. If you want to warm up, stick this one on. I guarantee it will warm you up within minutes. So that's just a little list of certain movies, long movies, that I really, really enjoy. Let's see, what else have I got here? I'll zip through this as quick as I can because I'm on 17 minutes already. Instagram. Surprise, surprise, I've reached 2,000 followers. I've got 2,000 followers on Instagram. I was really pleased about that. That's pretty much it. 2,000 followers. So, Jason Kerr, you put a post on this week about a book. I was looking at this months ago, and I wished I'd bought it now. It's called After the World Ends, and it's basically a history of future worlds that have been destroyed. It's basically after the apocalypse, after the nuclear war, movies that are based around that, sort of Mad Max, When the Wind Blows, that kind of thing. Okay, tell me I'm wrong here, but this seems a bit pricey for a book, right? 227 Australian dollars. I don't know what that equates to in British pounds, but I'm guessing it's not cheap. I couldn't even find a copy of it. The only one I could find was that, and I'm not paying whatever $227 is. So yeah, I would class that as fairly steep. I will sometimes go above and beyond. If I think a book is going to be absolutely brilliant, I will go for it, but I certainly wouldn't pay that kind of money, so you're spot on with that one. The Exorcist Believer trailer dropped this week. I watched Dave Oliver's reaction video. I also watched the trailer itself. Like you, I'm not entirely sure about it. I watched the trailer, and I have to say it didn't exactly set my world on fire. It was nice to see Ellen Burstyn as Chris McNeil, and I believe Linda Blair is appearing in this somewhere, even though she wasn't in the trailer. I mean, the original is an iconic movie. You can't replicate the kind of controversy and the furore that the original caused when it came out. I think you had to have been around at the time to understand just how how fiery it was back then. Um, I mean, there were like priests on hand outside of cinemas. The publicity was absolutely amazing for it. You couldn't have bought that kind of publicity. I heard about the movie way before it came out. Um, and then it appeared, and I read all this stuff. Obviously, I'd only been about 11 at the time. And then I heard what people were saying about it and thought, no, I don't think that's quite for me. I did watch it eventually, and I've seen it a few times. It's one of my favourites. I still find the scene with the crucifix really uncomfortable to watch. There are quite a few scenes in there that are really nasty. Um, but I don't know, this new movie, I will watch it. I don't think it's going to be anything remarkable, but I think it's going to be okay. Does that make sense? We'll see. And the thing is, if it's going to be a trilogy, it had better be good, with that being the first one. Um, because otherwise, if you get off on the wrong foot when you're making a trilogy, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we go with that. But I don't know. I think it's just going to be okay. But we'll see what the rest of the other trailers sort of say about it. It's out in October, so hopefully we'll get a physical media release by Christmas, when I get a chance to watch it, but not sure about that one. I kind of wished I'd not mentioned Barbie now. Fuck. God, I've been getting some crap about this. There was a picture on When You Have a Dream that Tony has treated us all to a cinema visit and he has chosen this shite, Barbie. It's a picture of about 5 of us sitting in a cinema with Barbie on the screen. Jason, where did you get that picture of Chris? I didn't even recognise it. I looked at him on the end and I thought, who the fuck's that? That is a really old picture by the looks of it. It didn't look anything like Chris. And even now when I look at it closely, it's like, it don't look like him. So, but it was a cracking little picture, Jason. I really enjoyed that. Mark, you put a post on last Sunday, it was, a movie called, get this, Zombie Ass, Toilet of the Dead. I thought it was a piss take. I thought it was a spoof. And I thought, that can't be. So I looked at it, and it is. It's a real movie. It's a Japanese movie. This movie could only have been made in Japan. I want to do a proper video on this because I've been downloading bits of story. I've been on the IMDb Parents Guide, which, just looking at this now, is unbelievable. But I've got loads of notes, and I haven't got time to go into it now. But I'll do a video on that one. I've managed to get a copy on Dodgy Stick, a beautiful Blu-ray copy with subtitles. So I can watch it in the best possible way. Heaven help me. Jason P, you said, I will not waste my time on shit movies. I think you've pretty much knocked the nail on the head there. That's valuable time wasted on shite. When I watch a movie on the stick, if it hasn't grabbed my attention half an hour after, it goes off. Yeah, I kind of get that, I do. Right, I've got about 7 minutes, so I can just leisurely cruise through. Let's see, 3 movies to bin this week. Now, first one, I've had this for years and I want it on Blu-ray desperately, Night of the Living Dead. So getting rid of this one will give me the excuse to invest in a Blu-ray, and I believe Arrow or 88 Films or somebody like that has done a really nice version of Night of the Living Dead. Dave Lowe, I think you mentioned this one. Which company is it? I'll have a look on Amazon, but you can probably put me right on that one. I'd love to see a picture of that, by the way, if you get a chance, because I will be investing in that on Blu-ray when that goes. And these two will probably be a little bit controversial. I watched these just recently, and I think I finally decided that I prefer the original franchise before Creed. And I know you're all screaming at the screen saying, you can't go. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was great to see Stallone after so many years. But if I'm being honest, I prefer the original, the first 6. I don't know, maybe the jury's out on this one, but I took one look at these last night and thought they were good, but they didn't really set my world on fire the way the original. So obviously the second one is going to be Creed 2. I may rethink these yet, I don't know. They will go on the pile to go to the charity shop, but there's a very good chance that one or two that are on that pile will be saved at the last minute. Again, I enjoyed this. It was great to see Dolph Lundgren back as Ivan Drago and his son. And obviously his son is going to pit himself against what's his face? What's his name? The black geezer. Apollo Creed. It's not, it's his son. You know what I mean, you've seen this, so you know. So we'll see about those, but there's a very good possibility I could change my mind on two of those, but we shall see. Shows I grew up with. Oh my God, you've got to be a certain age to remember these. First one, I've gone two this week because I want to get through these. The Twilight Zone. Saturday night, pretty much I'd come home from the pub and usually the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits was on, and I would always watch it. I developed a real love for this series. I've got the first season and the second season on Blu-ray, but there is a box set for about 50 quid of all 5 seasons on Blu-ray with millions of extras. So there's a very good chance that this could be coming up in movies that I want to dump over the next few weeks if I do get that Blu-ray. But I used to love the Twilight Zone. It had so many standout episodes, especially in the first season. The first season was classic, so that is one of them. And the other one, anybody remember this? WKRP in Cincinnati. It was a comedy series made in the sort of mid to late 70s. It was on the back of comedies like Soap, Benson, all that kind of thing. This is when American comedy got a little bit more raw. It was based around a radio station. That's pretty much all I can tell you about it. But it was just great fun. It was always on late on a Friday night, usually about 10:30 after the news. I'd be very curious to know whether anybody remembers that. What have I been buying this week? Oh God, I can't believe I'm going to have to rattle through these as fast as I'm going. Here we go. First one, a book. I saw this on Amazon and thought, that looks like a new book. Looked at it and it's literally just been released. So I've also bought, as daft as this sounds, the audiobook version of it because I've got loads of credits to use so I can read it and listen to it at the same time. But this is The Exorcist Legacy, 50 Years of Fear. So this is everything that you would need to know about the classic movie. Another one, Jason and Chris, I think you'll appreciate this one. VHS Ate My Brain. This was released probably about 10, 11 years ago. I've seen reviews of it before and basically they said that there were lots of typos in there, errors, so I decided to leave it, but this is a revised edition and the author has said that he's cleaned up the text, got rid of all the spelling mistakes, and this looks amazing. This is basically a history of him and VHS. So I'll let you know what I think of it when I've read it or I've had a flip through it, but it looks amazing. Jason and Chris, this one's definitely aimed at you. Now then, movies. The Legacy, starring, let's see, Catherine Ross and Sam Elliott. Classic British horror movie from the 70s, also features Roger Daltrey. If you've not seen it, I would definitely recommend this. A woman receives a notice to meet a lot of the family in an American. Well, I'm not explaining this very well. Here we go. It doesn't say anything on the back about it. That's useful. It is a birthright of living death. Just look up The Legacy on Amazon and you'll get the impression. But I've seen this a few times, really enjoyed it. Saw the Blu-ray and thought, got to have that. Let's see, what else have I got here? There you go, Chris, taking the plunge. Superman 1 and 2. Well, Superman 2, you got the Donner cut and the original cut. So really looking forward to taking a look at that one. It's not even at the cellophane yet. Let's see. Absolutely anything. This was recommended to me by someone who you will be meeting a little bit later on. Well, not meeting, but I will talk about it a little bit later on. I know nothing about this. This is on somebody's top 10 list that I haven't done yet, and I might have to run over an hour on this. But I always tend to take a movie off every list that I've never seen to take a look at. And this is the one, this has come off his list, so I'll come back to that one in a bit. A beautiful Stallone box set. I couldn't resist this. Somebody recommended Demolition Man, and I'd never seen it. And I saw this and thought, for 14 quid, I'll have it. You've got Cobra, Assassins, Tango and Cash, The Specialist, and Demolition Man. So looking forward to getting into those. And finally, what I consider to be Stallone's finest hour. Jeez, I'm sorry. I had to do it. If I'm being honest, half of the reason was I can basically see you on the other end of the screen now going, what the fuck are you doing? But I did want to see it all the way through, and this costs next to nothing, so I thought I'll go for it. But, you know, savage me if you want, but there you go. Right, I'm going to take another quick break, and I'm going to come back with another 5 or 10 minutes, believe it or not, to do somebody's top 10. But it will be a quick one. So, back in a sec. And we're back. Take bleeding 2. I can't believe this has gone on for over an hour. I hope you can bear with me. I won't keep you much longer, only a few more minutes. I've got stuff to do anyway. So, first off, a quick one. Happy birthday to Scott Anders. That notification just come through on Facebook. So happy birthday, mate. Hope you have a good day. I promised last week that I would do Rob Gear, his top 10 favourite movies. Rob joined the group probably a couple of weeks ago. He's interacting with everybody. It's great. So I asked him to write his top 10 movies down, and he's messaged them over to me. So I will go through these. My top 10 movies, not sure if you've seen any of these. These are not in any particular order, I don't think. Number 1, it's actually XXX rated. I don't think I can even read this one out on... I'm only kidding. Remember, Rob, I said revenge is a dish best served cold. I can't even say it. It's not really X-rated. The first one is Kingsman, Secret Service, Golden Circle and The Kingsman. Mix of funny, action-packed and fun to watch. I've never seen these. I saw the first few minutes of the original. Doesn't some guy get cut in half vertically with a sword or something? And I remember thinking, my God, that looks incredible, but I never actually got round to watching it, so I can't comment on those. Number 2, Absolutely Anything. It's fairly short but funny. I actually showed, where is it? Oh, it's amongst this lot, and I'll, hang on, just bear with me. Which is that one. This is the one I held up a little bit ago. I've never seen it, but as I said, out of every list, I tend to take 1 or 2 movies off that list that I've not seen and make a point of watching them, which kind of gives me a window into their world, if you like. I do like Simon Pegg. His movies are brilliant. Shaun of the Dead, the whole Cornetto trilogy. I had no idea it was referred to as the Cornetto trilogy. This was new to me. Somebody told me about it. And it's like, why is it called the Cornetto? I honestly don't know. Anyway, I digress. I will be taking a look at this. From what I've heard, it sounds amazing. Robin Williams voices the dog. You've also got the Python team in here. Oh, it can't be that bad. So we'll take a look at that one. Number 3, the Johnny English movies. There's 3 of them, all of them funny, played by Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean. I believe I saw the first one a few years ago. I didn't find it that funny. I'm certainly willing to give it another go, as I caught one of them on TV at my mother's house. Oh God, months ago, one bank holiday, and it was actually quite funny. So maybe I was in the wrong frame of mind to watch it when I actually took that one in. So I will be taking those in again. Brightburn. It's darker and quite gory, but interesting. Yeah, I know of this one. I think you mentioned it a while ago. I know something of it. Isn't it an alien kid or something like that? It does look intriguing. I've been warned about a certain death scene in it that is pretty grim. Something to do with a truck and somebody inside it. So yeah, I will be taking a look at that one at some point. That one does intrigue me. 5, Dark Knight trilogy. Second one is my favourite. I've only ever seen the first one. I think that was called The Dark Knight. This is the one with Heath Ledger as the Joker. I've not seen the other two. Um, we used to do a thread on the group, Rob, called Sequelophobia, which is what everybody thought I was suffering from. Whereas I would watch the first entry in a franchise and not actually watch anymore. Um, and that is probably one that I could um, make a point of actually watching again. I haven't seen The Dark Knight, the original, for years and years, but I do remember Heath Ledger was absolutely superb as the Joker, so that is one that I would definitely take in. Avengers Endgame. You won't know this, but I undertook an MCU journey. Oh God, ages ago. I promised that I would make my way through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm only as far as Thor at the moment. I decided that I was going to watch them all in order, um, and that's how far I've got with it. So I've not seen Avengers Endgame yet. I think the next one after Thor, when I finally get around to watching it, is Avengers Assemble. So I'm not a million miles away from Avengers Endgame. So it will get watched, that one. Number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, and 3. They are just amazing. If I had to break precedent and watch these movies out of order, Guardians of the Galaxy and possibly the Spider-Man movies are the ones that I would definitely go for. But I have promised I'll watch them in order, so I will get round to Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, I've heard a lot about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Apparently there are a lot of what you would call emotional scenes in there, which are not what you would expect. So I'm really looking forward to watching those because they sound interesting. Number 8, Doctor Strange. You do like your superheroes, I'll give you that. I've not seen this. This is Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I've seen clips of it and it looks amazing. And again, with it being an MCU movie, I will get around to it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Again, listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago when Across the Spider-Verse was released, and it got some amazing reviews. Apparently, the animation is out of this world on these two Spider-Man movies. I yeah, I would definitely take those in, absolutely, and I don't think I have to watch those in order either. So I will. I believe Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is in on Disney Plus, or it's on one of them, or is it Sky Movies? So I will be taking a look at that one. And finally, the Super Mario movie, the newer one that came out this year, funny but fast-paced. I never got into the whole computer games things in the 80s and 90s. I don't know why, it just never appealed to me. So, as most of the group pretty much know, any movie that's based on a computer game or around a computer game, chances are I've not seen it. Which is why I've never seen any Resident Evil films, Silent House, anything like that. But I have heard a lot about this Super Mario movie, and they reckon you don't have to have played the game or have seen any of the other movies to understand it. So when it comes on streaming, I almost certainly will take a look at that one. So that is Rob Gear's top 10. So thanks for that, Rob, much appreciated. A good mix there, actually. You do like your superheroes, I will give you that. So, right, I think that is pretty much everything. I need to get this all cobbled together and uploaded to YouTube, which is going to take 2 or 3 hours in itself, so you probably won't see this till about 12 o'clock. So again, thanks ever so much for joining me. It's gone really well this week. I was going to say that earlier on, but I thought I'll curse it if I do that. Yeah, it has gone well this week. I'm really pleased with the way this has shaped up. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of thing. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Have a brilliant week, folks, and I will be back next week. My stomach is rumbling. Can you hear it? I've had breakfast as well. I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah, have a brilliant week, folks, and I will be back with you roughly about the same time next week. Take care, everybody. Ta-da. And we're back. Take bleeding 2. I can't believe this has gone on for over an hour. I hope you can bear with me. I won't keep you much longer, only a few more minutes. I've got stuff to do anyway. So, first off, a quick one. Happy birthday to Scott Anders. That notification just come through on Facebook. So happy birthday, mate. Hope you have a good day. I promised last week that I would do Rob Gear, his top 10 favourite movies. Rob joined the group probably a couple of weeks ago. He's interacting with everybody. It's great. So I asked him to write his top 10 movies down, and he's messaged them over to me. So I will go through these. My top 10 movies, not sure if you've seen any of these. These are not in any particular order, I don't think. Number one, it's actually triple X rated. I don't think I can even read this one out on... I'm only kidding. Remember, Rob, I said revenge is a dish best served cold. I can't even say it. It's not really X-rated. The first one is Kingsman, Secret Service, Golden Circle, and The Kingsman. Mix of funny, action-packed, and fun to watch. I've never seen these. I saw the first few minutes of the original. Doesn't some guy get cut in half vertically with a sword or something? And I remember thinking, my God, that looks incredible, but I never actually got round to watching them, so I can't comment on those. Number two, Absolutely Anything. It's fairly short but funny. I actually showed, where is it? Oh, it's amongst this lot, and I'll, hang on, just bear with me. Which is that one. This is the one I held up a little bit ago. I've never seen it. But as I said, out of every list, I tend to take one or two movies off that list that I've not seen and make a point of watching them, which kind of gives me a window into their world, if you like. I do like Simon Pegg. His movies are brilliant. Shaun of the Dead, the whole Cornetto trilogy. I had no idea it was referred to as the Cornetto trilogy. This was new to me. Somebody told me about it. And it's like, why is it called the Cornetto? I honestly don't know. Anyway, I digress. I will be taking a look at this. From what I've heard, it sounds amazing. Robin Williams voices the dog. You've also got the Python team in here. Oh, it can't be that bad, so we'll take a look at that one. Number three, the Johnny English movies. There's three of them, all of them funny, played by Rowan Atkins and Mr. Bean. I believe I saw the first one a few years ago. I didn't find it that funny. I'm certainly willing to give it another go, as I caught one of them on TV at my mother's house. Oh God, months ago, one bank holiday, and it was actually quite funny. So maybe I was in the wrong frame of mind to watch it when I actually took that one in. So I will be taking those in again. Brightburn. It's darker and quite gory, but interesting. Yeah, I know of this one. I think you mentioned it a while ago. I know something of it. Isn't it an alien kid or something like that? It does look intriguing. I've been warned about a certain death scene in it that is pretty grim. Something to do with a truck and somebody inside it. So yeah, I will be taking a look at that one at some point. That one does intrigue me. 5, Dark Knight trilogy. Second one is my favourite. I've only ever seen the first one. I think that was called The Dark Knight. This is the one with Heath Ledger as the Joker. I've not seen the other two. We used to do a thread on the group, Rob, called Sequelophobia, which is what everybody thought I was suffering from, whereas I would watch the first entry in a franchise and not actually watch any more. And that is probably one that I could make a point of actually watching again. I haven't seen The Dark Knight, the original, for years and years, but I do remember Heath Ledger was absolutely superb as the Joker, so that is one that I would definitely take in. Avengers Endgame. You won't know this, but I undertook an MCU journey, oh God, ages ago. I promised that I would make my way through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm only as far as Thor at the moment. I decided that I was going to watch them all in order, and that's how far I've got with it. So I've not seen Avengers Endgame yet. I think the next one after Thor, when I finally get around to watching it, is Avengers Assemble. So I'm not a million miles away from Avengers Endgame, so it will get watched, that one. Number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2 and 3. They are just amazing. If I had to break precedent and watch these movies out of order, Guardians of the Galaxy and possibly the Spider-Man movies are the ones that I would definitely go for. But I have promised I'll watch them in order, so I will get round to Guardians of the Galaxy. I've heard a lot about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Apparently there are a lot of what you would call emotional scenes in there, which are not what you would expect. So I'm really looking forward to watching those because they sound interesting. Number 8, Doctor Strange. You do like your superheroes, I'll give you that. I've not seen this. This is Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. I've seen clips of it and it looks amazing. And again, with it being an MCU movie, I will get around to it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Again, listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago when Across the Spider-Verse was released, and it got some amazing reviews. Apparently, the animation is out of this world on these two Spider-Man movies. I yeah, I would definitely take those in, absolutely, and I don't think I have to watch those in order either. So I will. I believe Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is in on Disney Plus, or it's on one of them, or is it Sky Movies? So I will be taking a look at that one. And finally, the Super Mario movie, the newer one that came out this year, funny but fast-paced. I never got into the whole computer games things in the 80s and 90s. I don't know why, it just never appealed to me. So, as most of the group pretty much know, any movie that's based on a computer game or around a computer game, chances are I've not seen it. Which is why I've never seen any Resident Evil films, Silent House, anything like that. But I have heard a lot about this Super Mario movie, and they reckon you don't have to have played the game or have seen any of the other movies to understand it. So when it comes on streaming, I almost certainly will take a look at that one. So that is Rob Gear's top 10. So thanks for that, Rob, much appreciated. A good mix there, actually. You do like your superheroes, I will give you that. So, right, I think that is pretty much everything. I need to get this all cobbled together and uploaded to YouTube, which is going to take 2 or 3 hours in itself, so you probably won't see this till about 12 o'clock. So again, thanks ever so much for joining me. It's gone really well this week. I was going to say that earlier on, but I thought I'll curse it if I do that. Yeah, it has gone well this week. I'm really pleased with the way this has shaped up. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, all that kind of thing. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Have a brilliant week, folks, and I will be back next week. My stomach is rumbling. Can you hear it? I've had breakfast as well. I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah, have a brilliant week, folks, and I will be back with you roughly about the same time next week. Take care, everybody. Ta-ra.